Two, one. Hey guys, this is Matt Bailey with the Foul Pursuit Podcast. Today I got Mr. Josh Wissinger joining me here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So Josh, just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, kind of where you come from, and what you do as far as waterfowl hunting and all that goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, my name's Josh, as he said. I live in Hayden. It's a little bit off the map considered for the waterfowl spectrum. So, I kind of grew up deer hunting. I didn't really have a whole lot. Nobody in my family did any kind of waterfowl or anything like that. And they'll say the Duck Dynasty deal kind of got everybody involved in it.
Yeah.
That's what they say with most of the kids nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Well, I had a gentleman that I worked with, and he was talking about duck hunting, and I was like, man, I've seen all these guys on YouTube do it, and it looks so much fun because I was a big wing shooter. I loved shooting quail. I loved shooting dove. You know, that was my bread, my butter. Because when it comes September, for 4 weekends, I was hunting every Saturday and Sunday, and if I could after school, that's what I was doing when I got out
Mm-hmm.
of school. So I really enjoyed it, and I was like, man, I really want to get into duck hunting. None of my friends did it. I didn't have anybody that I knew that really did it. So I was like, man, I gotta get somebody to take me. Just show me what's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the hardest part is getting in a new sport like that is being able to just have somebody that can
To show
take
you the
you one
ropes.
time.
Yeah.
Just if you just show me one time what I need to do, I can go from there. I can
Mm-hmm.
take it. I kind of just give me that little bit of rope. And we went to Gunnersville one morning. He said, meet me at the ramp at like 1:30. And I'm thinking like, man, dude, when I get up deer hunting, I'm like 45 minutes to sunrise and I'm
Yeah.
I'm in the woods. Like I'm not thinking about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I had all my hunting clothes on and stuff. Now keep in mind I had no duck hunting stuff at this time. I had my dove hunting gun that I use when I dove hunt. And he said, go buy you a box of 3.5s steel. I said, okay. So I just went and bought a cheap box of I think it was Rio Blue Steel at the time.
It's the
It's
best there
cheapest
is.
thing you could buy on the ship. They was the best thing you could buy at the time for cheap wise. So I was like, I'll go buy a box of them and try it. I
Mm-hmm.
had some cheap waders that I borrowed from a guy, and we set out on this little journey, man. And we set off in these islands down at Allreds, and man, I had a blast. I think I pulled the trigger twice all day,
Yeah.
and it was just one of them things. It's like you went one time
And
and you
you're
were
hooked.
hooked.
Yep.
And that's what I tell these guys that I go with. I've took a lot of my friends when I started hunting more and got more into it, and I bought a boat and what that kind of stuff. I didn't have nobody to go with me because I didn't hunt with these guys. So I got to get some of my buddies in it. And I know all my friends, they deer hunted, they dove hunted with me,
Mm-hmm.
they turkey hunted. I was like, man, if I can get all them in it, dude, we could have a blast because it was so much fun. And that's what people didn't really understand was like why I spent so much money on it. When it come duck season, that's all I did.
Yeah.
I didn't do nothing. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
spend any of my vacation time. I didn't spend any extra money. All my money went towards duck hunting, and that was it. I didn't do nothing else but that for like 4 years.
Oh yeah, it'll get you for sure. So, how long have you been duck hunting now? Did you?
I want to say that was probably right around my senior year in high school. I
Yeah,
think was when I went my first time.
and that's a similar story with me too. I started hunting. I was probably 17, 18 years old, and similar thing is like I didn't have anybody that showed me, and really I didn't even grow up deer hunting or anything. So, I
Oh man, so
went.
you were fresh.
Yeah, I was fresh. I went deer hunting a few times as a kid. But I didn't go much. So me and some buddies from school, we I think we just graduated when we started hunting, so we was 18 years old. Man, and your story sounds similar like mine. Our first day we actually went to Swan Creek, which is the worst place to go at first time. So and
You got the real feel for
oh
it
yeah,
then.
and for anybody that doesn't know that, that's in North Alabama. But so we get there, and for one, like we're all jittery, so we don't know have a clue what we're doing. We don't have anybody to point us in the right direction. So we get there on time, and we forget. We like, dang, we forgot all the life jackets at the house. So we run to Academy, which is probably 20 minutes down the road. Come back after this point, it's already a shooting lot. And man, when I tell you we had a riggedy boat, we pull up. We got a 14-foot flat bottom. There's three of us, and I'm the smallest guy in my group. The rest of them they're 250 at least, and we built this blind that we looked on. We dug on the internet. We built this blind made out of 2x4s. So it's a 4 foot or 14 or 12-foot boat that's like 4 foot wide. So this thing was rickety as heck. We didn't even have a motor. We had a trolling motor on the back, and we sent it, buddy. And it was, man, it was rough. We killed. I think I actually killed my first duck. I killed a gadwall that day.
That's awesome.
I think we killed that one, and then we shot. At the time, we didn't even know the difference between ducks and coots. That's how fresh we were. So I mean, we murked like 15. We thought we was
The
doing
only reason
big.
I can laugh is I know I've been there. I have been there. I've been in the raggedy boats,
Oh
man.
yeah,
I've been in that kind of stuff.
I think it's great to start out like that because I mean, it does
It
build,
really
it
is.
builds character. But
It really
so
is.
we shot this one gadwall, and I was like, okay, I feel good about that. And then we got these 15 coots. And man, we got our chest poke out. We're pulling back up to the ramp and everything. We're loading everything up, acting like we done something. And then this guy was like, "What y'all gonna do with all those?" We was like, "I guess cook them." He's like, you know, it's not good to eat those. You know, they're like trash. And we was like, "Oh, we didn't know that." So, but that's kind of how my first hunt went, boy. And it was, man, and really, I've been hunting for right at 10 years now, man, and we have come a long way. Let me tell you. Now, we ain't professionals by no means, but we have come a long way, and we've hunted Gunnersville a few times, and I haven't hunted Swan Creek in probably 2 years now. I try to, if I'm in Alabama, I try to stay on the river, but because it's just it's too much of a madhouse. Like when we started going like 10 years ago, it wasn't nowhere near as bad as it is now. It was still bad, but now it's like I remember. I think two years ago was the last time I hunted swan. It was opening day, and we got there at Thanksgiving, which for people that don't know, Alabama season always starts the day after Thanksgiving. So we get there Thanksgiving probably around 4, and I bet we're like 10th or 11th in line. And it's like, man,
And that's just at one gate.
yeah, that's
That's
one
not a gate.
gate.
There's
Yeah,
two
yeah,
gates,
there's
and out
two
of the
gates
second
there.
gate,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I slept not last year, but the year before last. It was last year. It was last year. I slept for 2 days at that gate, and I was number 6 in line.
I believe it. I mean,
Mm,
it's crazy, and we always try to put in at the main gate, but that west dock gate it
yeah,
stays busy too. But
all of them
it
are.
is what it is.
That's a madhouse. You're exactly right. That's a it kind of gets a bad taste on people's mouth because you do catch a lot of those guys that come in that don't have because there's really not a whole lot of public access. Like when you
Oh
got
yeah.
Arkansas, man, there's just everywhere you can go. You got
Mm-hmm.
Earl Bush, you got Bayou Meta, you've
Mm-hmm.
got Kent. I mean, you've got everything out there. There's a bunch of different places, and if not, a farmer that would
Mm-hmm.
come let you shoot his rice field
Yeah,
or
you can
let you
go.
shoot
You can
his
start
beans.
asking people. If you come.
Yeah, like you got the options. Like you don't have that
Yeah.
around here. And that's what
No.
I try to tell people. I'm like, just because you get out of state guys that come over there, yes, I get there's that small crowd of those guys that they ruin it for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not I mean, dude, I've had my tires cut out there at boat ramps just because I've got an Alabama tag.
Yeah.
Like there's no call for that. Just because I want the same opportunities you do
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I'm a bad guy
Yeah.
because I'm out there working my tail off trying to find stuff. I
Yeah.
don't go hunt on top of nobody. I don't go shoot nobody's
Yeah.
swing
Be
bird. But
respectful about. Be ethical about it.
these
Yeah.
other kids do, and they make a
Mm-hmm.
bad name on them. Which I've had that happen at Swan with local guys. I got shot up there about 3 years ago. I had a you probably know where it's at in the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the mouth of the pocket. I had a group of about 6 guys with me, and 5 of them have never killed a bird ever, and they was just wanting to kill them. So we had them right before daylight, about 20 minutes. I had about 30 of them sitting in the decoys. And I said, "Look, nobody shoot. We'll just sit there and let them sit out there and mill around.
Mm-hmm.
They're not leaving. It's dark." So they stayed out there for a little while. Ended up shooting a couple of them out of that group, and then they picked up, flew off, and a widgeon landed in there's a little channel out there, and there's a widgeon that landed right out in the middle of it. It was a big, big drake, and he was beautiful. He was fully plumed out, and it was middle of January, and I was like, man, that is a beautiful duck. I'd like to kill it. I've got him probably 70 yards. There's no reason for me to even shoot. But he's looking between spreads, trying to see which way he wants to go or whether he
Mm-hmm.
wants to fly off. Well, this kid walks out of the bushes on the other side on a tree. He comes out in the water, and he's walking straight at me, and I see him, and I'm like, please don't shoot that bird, because he's going to shoot me in the face if he sprays. Like
Yeah.
if he shoots that bird, he's going to. And man, he levels down on it, and that bird picks up. When he picks up, he pulls the trigger and squeezes it off. And I done waved and like let him. He knew I was back there because he waved back at me, and I was like, he thought I was
Mm.
waving at him, and he pulled that trigger and squeezed one off, and I just turned my face, and man, it ate up the side of me.
Yeah.
Hit a couple of them hit me in the face, and I was like, man, that right there is what puts a bad name on
Oh
folks' one.
yeah, for sure. And I have a similar story like that. I guess this was probably 3 years ago. We was hunting, me and three of my other buddies. We was hunting. You know where the dam is at Swan. So if you go to the
Mm-hmm.
dam, there's a pocket back there, and if we have a lot of rain, it'll flood that timber for just a little
Yes.
bit. It's probably 15, 20 foot of flood, and then there's cornfield in front of it. Well, we got there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we got there. We actually walked in at that point because we knew it would be probably a little easier to get back there than a boat. Well, so we had some guys walk in. We was there, and we had that place lit up because you have to, because people will come right up on you if you don't have it lit up. So
Mm-hmm.
we probably got 4 or 5 flashlights until shooting light. Right at shooting light, there's this group that pulls up, and the way it is there's corn right in front of us. You really can't see the other side. But these guys, they had to see our lights, but they pulled up, and we could hear their motor in their boat, and we was like, okay, these guys are got to be at least 50, like within 50 yards from us. So we're shining our lights over there, whatever, and it got quiet over there for a solid 30 minutes. We thought they left. We thought they may have walked and went on. Well, we had some birds come in, and we were working them. But we finally get them to come low enough, and they're about to come in on us. And as soon as they start diving, these boys start shooting at them. And if we wasn't in those trees, like if those trees wasn't between us and those boys, we would have got shot like that. I've I try to keep my temper because it's a small place, and I know it's compact, and it's really hard to get away. You know, good distance between everybody. But that was uncalled for. They knew we was there, and we like if it wasn't for those trees, we would have got shot. Like they was close. They was closer than we thought they were, and but we
It's dangerous, man.
luckily none of us got hit. But it was, boy, you talk about I was livid. And
Oh yeah.
they've left right after that, which good. I mean, they if they didn't, it probably would have been a problem. But yeah,
I think it's the whole public deal in
yeah,
a general, because you're gonna have that anywhere. I've had them at Gunnersville.
hmm,
I know guys that I duck hunted with that they've had stories from back in the day where they've had people where they pulled up in their blinds, and one of them in particularly, they built a blind on Gunnersville,
hmm,
and he didn't. They built a blind, and there was another blind across the island. Well, the birds wasn't in there that same morning, so they went across and got another blind. Well, these guys didn't show up till like an hour after shooting light, and he was like, "Hey, look, this is my blind. I built it." And he was like, "It's on public property." Now, TVA, you can build blinds on the bank. You can
hmm,
stand in the water. You can anywhere you please on TVA property, but it is public access. So if you put a blind there, that's free game for
yeah,
anybody. You have no right, but you can't put a tag on it and put a lock on the
hmm,
door. I just go through the window, because if I want to hunt it, that's legally my obligation to hunt it.
yeah,
So he, the guys told him, they said, "Look, if you're not going to get out, ain't nobody going to hunt this blind." And according to him, they set the blind on fire and made him get out
wow,
and leave. They set the blind on fire. It was a diver blind,
hmm,
but I was like, man, that just shows the type of people that do give a bad rep. Now he could have been blowing smoke up
yeah,
my rear end,
yeah,
stuff like that, and it could have went
exaggerate
anyway.
a
But
little
it's
bit,
just
yeah,
it's just those kind of instances. I've seen it more countless times up there. People come in on you, and you do have a lot of respectful guys. Last year I actually got a cane blind that I know of that has been out there, and I've been hunting it for 6-8 years. And I took some guys up there who've never hunted. That's my cousins, and they was like, "Hey, we want to go." I knew it was a place we go shoot ringnecks. I was about always going to shoot. If we shot anything else, we get lucky.
hmm,
It's just not an area for them. But it'd be something to get them in it like they did me. And he was like, "Look, just take me in there and let me kill something, and I'd be tickled." So I took them in there. We beat these guys to the hole, and I saw these guys on the road to Guntersville. We actually passed them around Buck's Pocket. And I was like, man, that's a lot of cane. They had a bunch of cane loaded up on their boat. I was like, I bet you $100 bill that they're going that same boat
Yep.
ramp we're going to. So we pulled up, dumped the boat in water. We ran over there, got in the cane, um, brushed it in a little bit from what was out there already, got the boat set in there. And here comes this boat. And I come across the river, and I was like, that's those guys. And they had all the cane piled up. And he was like, man, you beat us to it fair and square. He said, all I ask is if y'all do kill them and y'all limit out, here's my number. Let me know when y'all leave, and I'd like to come get in it. He said, here, take all this cane. The dude gave us all the cane. This dude probably spent hours cutting this
You
stuff at
cutting it
home
up, yeah.
and brushing it out. And he was just like, hey, look, here you go. Take it. And he said, we're going to go on up the pocket. We'll get out of your way. He said, when we get done, just text me, and I'd like to come in here and get my boy on some birds. We was like, okay, that's cool. And we shot 6 or 8 spoonbill out of there and a couple geese. And ever since then, my cousin, he went and bought a boat. He went and bought weight. I mean, he went and
He done
spent
got
all this
hooked.
money. Like I said, I was like, if you're going to do this, I'm just going to warn you, you better get ready to be broke. And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, I make plenty of money. I'm like, I don't care how much money you make. I know guys that make
Yeah.
100,000+ a year and stay broke during duck season
Oh yeah.
because
You can
that's
do it
all
in a
they do.
hurry. Yeah, you can do it in a hurry, and
Oh,
it is.
real quick.
And I tell everybody, and it was Dog hunting is a very expensive sport. Yes, you can get by with cheap stuff, but I've been there, done that when I first started hunting. I had the cheapest waders, I had the cheapest jacket, and it is
Mm-hmm.
worth its weight in
It's
gold
weight in gold.
to have good gear because I can't tell you how many times, especially my first year or two hunting, boy, I froze to death. So,
I like to froze
um,
to death my first
mhm,
couple of years, just like that,
yeah.
trying to get by with as minimal
And,
money as
and
possible.
and in Alabama, it seems like you're doing okay when you first if you start at the first part of the season because in Alabama it doesn't typically get really cold until December anyway or January. So you're hunting and you're like, okay, this ain't that bad. I can get by with it. But when it starts getting 30 degrees, like 20 degrees, I've been hunting down here and shoot. Sometimes it gets 4 or 5 degrees every now and then,
Yep.
and you got to get. I mean, it's worth its weight in gold if you can spend the money on it, get it because it's. I mean, and way I look at it is you can go out and buy $100 pair of waders. They're going to last you maybe a year. If you go out and spend good money on some, I'm not saying you got to go out and spend $1,000 on sickle waders, but go buy you a $400 or $500 pair of waders, and you can at least
Yep.
get 3 or 4 seasons out of it and be fine. I wear gator waders. I love them. I started
I've
using
turned a lot of
them
my
last
guys
year.
onto that.
Yeah,
Oh, them
I
gator waders.
I used to wear Drake, and I started wearing gator waders last year. And boy, I hunted some really cold, a lot of ice last year. Never, not a problem. And what I like about them the best is they're one, they're breathable, and two, they're very flexible. They don't seem like they're cinched up on you all the time. So, and
It's
if
not
it's
like the neoprene. The
yeah, it's
neoprene will
not. Yeah,
freeze on you, but that
yeah,
breathable gives you a lot more room, and people don't really realize how much extra, especially around here, you hunting where it's real deep mud, silting in, stuff like
yeah,
that. If you've got a pair of neoprene waders on, you're walking around like a stick man,
yeah.
especially if it's cold, because as soon as that neoprene gets up above the water, believe it or not, I've had it where ice builds up on it and it
Mm-hmm.
starts stiff, and you're like, man, this sucks. You get the breathable, that stuff makes you move around a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
better.
Oh yeah.
I went through several pair of breathable, and Gator Waders wasn't out at the time when I was buying breathable. I was buying banded,
Yeah.
and man, I went through pair after pair after pair. They pinholes, you have leaks, and you'd pick your foot up and go, well, I know that my foot's in the water, but there's water in my boot, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm pretty positive there's water in my boot. And dude, you take them back. I've took them out of the box. Now, I'm not knocking Bandit at all because they've got a lot of stuff that I do like,
Yeah.
but their waders, it's just terrible. Like I have not found a good pair.
There's a lot
I've
better
got one
options.
pair.
Yeah.
I've got one pair of Bandit waders that I keep hung up for a spare that do not leak. The only pair that I've had out of the 7 that I've bought
Yeah.
doesn't leak. So then I try to justify, okay, when somebody's buying a pair of waders, they're like, okay, what do you recommend? Well, you got to give me a price budget. Okay, well, I'm not wanting to spend no $1,000 on Sheens. I'm not going to spend $1,000 on stick. I'm like, okay, well, if you want to go buy a cheaper pair, you start going into the consequences of cheaper problems. And he said,
Mm-hmm.
well, what is your lower price point? And I always send them gator waders because most of the guys that I know that run the gator waders, they don't have any problems out of them. So I send them that way because if they want to spend the money on Sitka, I say I'm gonna recommend. That's what I
Yeah.
wear. Now they can call that the oozer or whatever they want to call the stereotype that you wear Sitka, but I believe firmly, and you get what you pay for.
Oh yeah.
And in work, I buy good tools, and I don't have the problems with getting electrocuted. I don't have problems with tools breaking me on the job, impacts going on dead on me in the middle of the job. I don't have those problems because I spent the money, and that's why I try to get the point across to people. If you spend the money on good material, you're going to get a better
Yeah.
quality
You get what you
product
pay for sure.
off the rack either
Hmm.
way.
Yeah. That's what I tell everybody too. Like, if you can, I mean, if you can afford Sika, go for it.
Yeah, if you can
And I've
afford it, go
and
for it.
I have like, and really like all my deer hunting stuff is Sitka. I haven't quite pulled the trigger on my duck hunting stuff yet because I have actually in the past, like when I said last year, I was actually thinking about running Sitka, but I got in with some boys and we actually got in with gator waders, and we that's the route we went to. So I'm gonna give them another try, which mine's perfectly fine. I'm gonna do another year or two with them, and then whenever they do decide to give, then I'll probably go to Shin or Sika. Which
I,
right now it's a toss up because I've heard some great things about Shin, and they're
I'll be 100% honest with you, and this comes from somebody that's had Drake, Banded, all of
mm-hmm,
these above except Shane. Well, I went to the Sheen clothing event probably, I'd say, better yet, three, four, probably about 2, 3 months ago. That was down at Brewing Company in Birmingham.
mm-hmm.
Those guys that come from Sheen, I don't think any of them get paid to do any of that, except the ones that come and run the actual event. But the
Yeah,
people that spokespeople that I know that are down there, I don't think they get any kind of pay for it. If you pick two phones up and you call Sheen right now, well, probably not right now because it's 6 o'clock,
yeah,
but
6 o'clock.
during 8 to 4, you're going to get somebody on the phone. I had an issue with some Sitka stuff probably about 2 months ago. I called them for 3 days on my account, and I could never get anybody on the phone. You go through every automated menu, leaving the warranty sucks, and I can say that because I've
Yeah,
got thousands of dollars that I have invested in Sitka.
okay, yeah,
I have all my turkey hunting line, my duck hunting line, my whitetail stuff. I've got 3 totes slap full that I can't buy no more of it. I mean, there's nothing else for me to buy out of it.
mm-hmm,
So I can say that their warranty sucks because it does. I can never get anybody on the phone. You can never get any response out of them. You send them emails, you might get one back 3 months later.
yeah.
I sent
That's
one
what I
then, I still
heard.
haven't got back.
I've heard a
But
bunch.
Sheen, those guys are class act men. Those
Yeah,
guys know they're the type of people like me and you that's out here. They just started a brand. Now some of
mm-hmm,
their stuff is along the same lines as Sitka, like the type of clothing that they have. It's not the same name, not the same material, but it's along the same lines. They've not necessarily copied it, but they have built off of it and they have made it a little better. I had problems with my zippers. Their zippers are different zippers. I've had problems with the little tags on the zippers coming
yeah,
off. They've got different tags on them. They took it and they've stepped the game up. I don't have really any. I think I got like a hoodie and a couple shirts and maybe a couple hats. Like I don't have any other Sheen stuff. And as far as their warranty and their product availability goes, I would go with them if it
top
me
notch.
personally,
Yeah,
if I could get rid of all my stuff, which I'm not going to because I like it.
mm-hmm.
But if I was to start over and do this again, I would probably go
Go
with
with
Sheen
Sheen.
just
Yeah.
because of their availability.
And I don't own anything Sheen. With like I said, um, I do have Sitka, like my deer hunting stuff. All of it's Sitka, and then I have vests, Sitka, shirts, whatever, hats, whatever. But I have the same problem with my stuff. All those little cords that the zippers that's on the zippers, every one of them I have found. Like each article of clothing that I have that has that, I have found it in my washer. And I actually have one vest that I've lost. I had to. I have two of the exact same vest, but that's a different story. But one of them is I call it my work vest, and that's the one I use to go. If I'm wearing it duck hunting or working or whatever. But that
Right.
thing is, I think it's got one little tab on it left. The rest of them's gone. So I, and it's, I mean, yeah, I get it. Those little things are not durable, but when you pay $200 for something for a vest.
Yeah.
You expect better quality
You
stuff.
expect not to have
Yeah.
the quality. Now the
Yeah.
thing is with their quality, it's small things like that kick people away from it. Now
Yeah.
they don't look at a lot of the large size of it. Like I don't have any problems out of my clothes shrinking. None of
Yeah.
mine
Oh
shrink.
no, 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 not at
All
all.
mine stay true, even if you wash them in cold or hot, or you
Hmm.
dry them, either hang them up. None of my clothes have shrunk. I've
They
pretty
all
much stayed
stay
in them.
warm,
I've gotten a
padded.
little fatter, so
Hmm.
I don't have any of the value coming out of them. None of the clothes are deteriorating. I've not had the stirrups ripped out of none of them. Like the clothing itself is durable. I love it. I don't never get cold. I've been in situations where everybody else is with me is freezing to death, and I'm sitting over here just
Oh
warm
yeah.
as could be.
Which I
I
wear
love
like
it.
my so when I go duck hunting, I say I don't have any outer sick stuff. So, but my white tail, I got a zip up. I forgot what it's called. I bought it like 3 years ago, but I wear that under my water shell jacket, and it is super warm. The only complaint I would have about it, so I got the bibs, and the way those bibs they rub, they'll
Yeah,
they'll fray it right there. Which, I mean, I get it. It's that material is really not the best material. I'm probably using it in a wrong way,
for
but as
abrasion, yeah,
far,
I
yeah,
see what you're
for
saying.
abrasion, but as far as warmth goes, that's the warmest stuff I own. Like, because I'll wear, like, if I'm out somewhere really cold, I'll wear my bibs, my zip up jacket under my waders and under my outer shell. If it's under 20 degrees, I'm wearing that under it, and it does keep me warm. I don't freeze. So the only thing, I tell everybody when I hunt, the only thing that should be cold on me is my face, because I can't. I'm not I'm not wearing a neck gaiter, so
I don't like
I don't
stuff
I
over
don't
my
like
face.
to.
I like
Yeah, I
being
don't
able to
either.
see,
Yeah, and I'm the same
and
way.
my
So
fingers.
yeah,
I can't wear gloves.
I never wear gloves. It'll be. I've hunted in 5-degree weather with no gloves. I'll wear a glove on the boat when I'm driving, but other than
Yeah,
that, I
I
can't.
can't do nothing with them. If I'm trying to load, I mean, I look like I've
Mhm.
got something wrong with me. I'm sitting here trying to load stuff, and my fingers don't work with gloves on. They
Yeah,
never have. I can't work at work with gloves on. That's why I've got more cuts and burns and scars on my hands than you can shake a stick at. But I can't wear gloves.
yeah,
Nobody has made a glove that works besides the nitrile because they're so thin. But you'll cut those first time you get anything around pointed. So
yeah.
that's
I'm not
pointless.
a glove guy myself. I'm out. Which
I'm with you on that.
yeah, unless I'm driving a boat or something, then I'll wear
Yeah.
one glove. But
Yeah, a 20-mile boat ride
yeah,
like this, man,
yeah,
I'm glad to tell you that hand will be a popsicle when you get it off that
yeah. Oh
tiller.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. Um, but anyway, so I know this ain't waterfowl related, but since you're going on anyway, you said you was going on a deer hunt here in next. You're leaving Sunday.
Yeah, I'm leaving Sunday
Yeah.
morning.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine called me and was like, "Hey, man, you want to go with us to Missouri?" And I'm like, "Well, who's us? We got a large group."
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just me. I'm trying to find somebody to split the room. It's public land. And I was like, "Shoot, yeah." I just got really big into bow hunting this year. I've never really been a big bow hunting guy. Now I've went one or two times throughout the season, and I've had
Mm-hmm.
the cheapest bow that I could find. Somebody giving away or something in a pawn shop. Still got the whisker biscuits on it. One of them kind of things. And I was like, man, I don't know about it. And I was like, yeah, I'll go. I want to kill one with a bow. Like I'm kind of dead set on it. So I went and bought a new Matthews about 2 weeks ago, and that really hurt my pocketbook. But
Oh yeah.
I had I've never had anything as smooth and just as a comfortability of a bow for me. And I killed one last week with it, and I get a little comfortable before I left. And I spent all past 2 weeks on Onyx sitting at night looking at that stuff. I've got the $100 version of Onyx, which is like a year subscription or whatever, where you can go all over the country and you can change like your map layers and topography, and that
Mm-hmm.
really helps me key in on stuff that I know up there's different than it is down here.
Yeah.
So we're going to northern Missouri, like around Kirksville area. We've keyed in on a couple little places up there that he wants to go, and he's never been. I've never been. Just take two guys and the knowledge of deer hunting that they have, and if I go up there and I kill anything, I either A got lucky or it was just right place to right time.
Oh yeah.
It's just one of them things. But we drew archery tags. I've got a doe tag and a buck tag, and they threw in a turkey tag. And I was that's the first time I've
That's
ever seen a turkey tag in a fall,
mm-hmm.
especially with a
Yeah.
bow. And I'm like, I do good enough
Oh,
to shoot turkeys with a
yeah.
12 gauge, much less with a bow. So,
Well,
they gave it to me, so I'll take it. We're gonna go give it a shot.
hey, it's worth it. I mean, you might get lucky and end up with a buck, a doe, and a turkey, and then you get to come back and kill some birds.
Oh yeah, if I
It
do
could
that,
could
I
work
probably
out.
won't. I may not deer hunt a whole lot this year. I'm in a hunting club out in Fayette
Hmm.
with my granddad. See, my granddad deer hunted a lot when he was younger, and he got to raising a family and all that kind of stuff. And he had to quit deer hunting for a couple of years. My mom come down with cancer, and she had stage 3 colon cancer, and they give her probably this was in the late '80s. They gave her about 3 or 4 months to live. Essentially, is what they told her. At the time, my dad's in his early 40s. He's got late 30s, early 40s. He's got 3 kids under the age of 5, all girls. He's building a house. He just lost his job at U.S. Steel. They went through a big layoff at U.S. Steel, and he was kind of sitting down there, and he was like, "Well, I'll tell you a big thing for me, son, was woods time." And I was like, "What?" A lot of people go to hunt to woods, or go to the woods and hunt, and they go deer hunting and whatnot because it's fun. Don't get me wrong, I love it. That's my church. I know I'm not a very good example of a Christian some days. I say a
Hmm.
lot of things I shouldn't, but I know where my faith founds and lies at. And I know that I get closer to him sitting in his creation.
Oh
There's a
yeah.
lot of heart to hearts that I've had sitting in those trees or sitting in the woods with my buddies and realizing things that I would have never realized in a church. It's hard for me to focus in there. My ADHD got me
Oh
running all
yeah.
over. I'll be looking at duct work in the middle of service,
Hmm.
wondering like, who put that in there? Like my brain cannot stay
Yeah.
focused on what the preacher's saying. And I go to the woods and it's like, man, everything is like a blur.
Hmm.
It completely throws out that realm that I was in. So I really took that and started understanding what he meant by that the older that I got. Well, my daddy's 75. Well, granddaddy. So he's 75 now, and he's gotten to the point where he really is just about where he can't hunt no more.
Hmm.
He can go a little bit, but he went into AFib this past year. And the guys that know me, for anybody, that's my best friend. Like, I call that man anytime I need something, he's there. There's nobody on this planet that I'm closer with than him. And that really bothers me to know that I can't get to go hunt with him as much. Like, you see these videos of guys like it went from, "Hey son, we're going hunting, let's go get in the woods," to, "Hey, call me if you kill him."
Hmm.
Like there's that big change.
Yeah.
So he wanted to. I had to stop duck hunting last year. I didn't have to. I chose to.
Yeah, you chose to, yeah.
He
For a good reason.
he because duck hunting, duck season and deer hunting, same
Hmm.
line. It opens a week earlier. Deer season opens a week earlier here for rifle season. That's all my granddad does. He wants to go sit in the shooting house. He's been in that club for 13 years, and I bet you out of 13, he's killed 2 deer. And ain't none of them really been any size, but he doesn't care to really go out there and kill. I He sent me pictures like, "Hey, this one's," I was like, "Well, shoot it." "I don't want to. I just like to watch them." But he really likes to go down there and spend the time down there and sitting around a campfire, sitting with his old buddies, and sitting at the shooting house and spending time with me. He really enjoys that. And the past couple years I'd been duck hunting and I took that away from him. And he was going down there by himself. He wasn't
Hmm.
enjoying it. And he was like, "Hey, I'm getting out of the club next year." And I said, "No, you're not, because I'm getting back in it." He said, "Oh, you are?" I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get back in the club." So I got back in the club. We went last year down there. I killed a couple small deer, just something to fill the freezer meat, and just went down there spending time with him, going on the work days, even when I didn't have to, trying to spend more time with him. And that's something I got to tell people to really get across that point. When these, when your grandparents and parents get a lot older, you really got to boil and spend more time with them, because I
Hmm.
can replace any amount of time for the rest of my life
Yeah.
with me and
Except
my
for that
buddies
point,
out in the
yep.
woods. When they're gone, there is no more time
Hmm.
there. I'm going to be really wishing I had that time to spend with them. So when I go down now, it's like, hey, I can choose to go duck hunting. When my buddies call me, like, "Hey, we found some birds up here on the river. You want to go this weekend?" And I'm like, "I think I'm gonna go to the hunting club with my pops." I'm not gonna kill nothing down there like what I'd kill on the river. I'm probably not gonna have as much fun as I like to call it, because I'm not out there shooting birds on the river. I'm not,
Hmm.
out there passing around a fifth of Jim Beam at 3 o'clock in the morning in a duck blind. We're having a good time. but I'm down there at the
Yeah.
hunting club with my dad, spending time with him.
Hmm.
And I think right now that's a little bit more important to me than
Oh yeah,
doing
you
what
have
I
to.
have been doing.
Yeah, you have to cherish and I'm lucky enough. So my dad actually does go duck hunt with us, and he's the old man in the young crowd, but he has probably got the youngest soul out of all of us, and
You're blessed.
he
You're
keeps it.
blessed.
Man, he keeps it fun. So I mean, we make fun of him because he's the one, he goes to bed early and all that when we're all staying up all night. But
Yeah,
which at this point, I'm almost too old for that. You know, I'll be 27 this year, man, and I feel 37. But I am
yeah,
blessed
I
in that
get it.
aspect, and it just you know, we've you know, he hunts here with us. He'll go to Arkansas anywhere we go, and the good thing is, I mean, we can call him. He won't even know about it. We can call him, say, "Hey, we got a trip coming up. We're leaving tonight to go to Arkansas." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll get my stuff ready. Come by and pick me up, and I'll be ready in 30 minutes." So I'm truly blessed with that. And I mean, he's getting on up there too. He's in it. Want to say he just turned 52. And he'll kill me he knows I got his age wrong, but it'll be okay. But he's in his 50s. He's in his low 50s.
uh,
Um, but
Hopefully,
man,
you got
he
it wrong
is.
the other
Yeah,
way.
yeah. But I mean, he makes it fun for us, and I'm very blessed, and it's I know I'll cherish these days. You know, heaven forbid if anything happens, but I am truly blessed. But anyway, buddy, we are running out of time. I'm limited on my time here on this Zoom call, so.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But hey, it was a pleasure talking to you. Do you keep in touch with me too? I wanna know if you kill
Oh
anything
yeah,
next
absolutely.
week. But
Yeah,
do you have any like social media that you want to shout out, or your Instagram,
yeah.
Facebook?
My Instagram is J underscore or J Wiss underscore 97. You can feel free to follow me on Instagram. There's nothing on there but hunting pictures. I really don't post
Hmm.
anything with that.
Yeah.
And then my Facebook is Joshua Wissinger. So y'all can look me up. I'm sure the rest of my social media is posted across that, but y'all can follow me and stay in touch. And if you got any questions or you got any time that you have any questions about wanting to go hunting or you got entrance question or anything like that, you feel free to give me a shout because I do not mind helping anybody. I want people to be able to look at me and say, hey, if I'm going to ask him something, I know he'll tell me the honest truth.
Hmm.
I ain't got nothing to hide from nobody. Now, I'm not giving them my duck holes, but
Yeah.
I'll put you in the right direction.
Anything else you'll give good pointers
I'll
to.
put you in the right direction. And I don't know everything, but I definitely I've been around a little bit, so I
Hmm.
can help anybody any way I can.
I try to do that too, and that's great. But hey, man, it was a pleasure. We'll have to do it again sometime. I'd
Absolutely.
love to have you back on, but it was a pleasure talking to you. And if you need anything, let me know. We live pretty close to each other, so
Oh,
I'd
absolutely.
love to
Yes,
get with
sir.
you
Yes, sir.
sometime. But anyway, we gotta get off here, and thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me.
See you,
Thank you.
buddy.
See ya.
See ya.